व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी. Hare Krishna. So, just try to share. Just give me a minute. I will not be able to share.
Prabhu, you want us to share?
Yeah, we can do that. Verse 14.
Tony Mataji is sharing. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. So 14th verse goes like this. Shreya prajapalanam eva rajno yad samparaye sukrutat shashtamam sham hartan yatha hrita punyah prajanam marakshitha karaharo agammati. So, yes, one of you can read this shloka once more and then we can read the translation. Since there are only 3 shlokas, one person can do the verse, the other one can do the translation.
Hare Krishna. Anusuya Mataji, you read the shloka. And Shobha Mataji, the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams, Prabhuji.
Dhanatana.
Shreya prajapalanam eva ragyo yat samparaye sukrutat shashtamamamsam hartanyata hrita punya prajanam arakshita kara harogamati. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Harogamati. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, now Prabhuji's and Mataji's. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
To give protection to the general mass of the people who are citizens of the state is the prescribed occupational duty for a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the results of the pious activities of the citizens. But a king or executive head of state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but does not give them proper protection as human beings has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizen. And in exchange for his not giving protection, he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. Haribol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavats.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. We'll move to the next shloka. Number 15.
Yes, Prabhuji, you are reading, Prabhuji.
No, one of you can read in the interest of time. Go ahead.
Meenakshi Mataji, you read the shloka, and Shilpa Mataji, the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Dhanavadi.
Evam Vijagri Vyano Matano Vriddha Dharma Pradano Anyattamo Vitasyaha Rishavena Kalena Grupopayatan Drashtasi Siddhan Anurakta Lokaha. Hare.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Vishnu continued, my dear King Prithu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahmana authorities, as they are received by the disciplic succession by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principles laid down by them without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you. And very soon you will be able to see such already liberated personalities as the 4 Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Putaji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And the last verse for the day.
Hare Krishna. Sharmila Mataji, you read the shloka, and Sarika Mataji, the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Varam chamat kanchana manavendra vraneshvate aham gunashila yantritaha naham makairvai sulabhastapober yogena vayat samachittavarti. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My dear King, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much. Mataji, we can go to 14 and keep it there for some time. Yeah, thank you. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. That's it. Hope you all are able to hear me. The voice is okay.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Perfect.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, there's 3 verses. It's in the 20th chapter, like you all know, the 4th canto. So, what is this 20th chapter all about? It is titled as Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena of Maharaja Prithu. So, we know Maharaja Prithu was doing a great sacrifice, 100 he wanted to reach. He had completed 99 and then there was a stop that had happened. Every time Indra was actually intervening. So there is a friction that happens between Lord Indra and then Prithu Maharaj. And then Lord Brahma has to intervene, and then now Lord Krishna, I mean the Supreme Lord, Krishna is himself coming here. And he is pleased with them because they have reconciled. And then he is giving instructions to Prithu, and then he is glorifying him actually, and giving him how he should go about his duties as a king, what he needs to do moving forward. So that's the set of instructions that we are seeing here. And in that, of course, the Lord is talking about how the heart is to be cleansed of material contamination, and how one should discern between matter and spirit. The Lord is actually explaining that in detail, because if one has to play the role of a king, or any role one has to play in the material world, even though it is as per the Shastric injunction, still one has to discern, or one has to be, what do you call, viveka. That means one has to discriminate between matter and spirit. Unless one is aware of that, they will not be able to do justice in the material world and thereby fulfill their duty. And that's the aspect that the king is trying to bring out here. But he also says that the king, you should keep yourself equipoised and treat people equally. So when we say treat people equally, then treat the soul or the people as souls, they have to be treated equally. Whether they are greater than you, they are intermediate stage or lower than you. This greater than you, intermediate and lower stage are all material, bodily material designations. Whereas if you have to treat equally, then the reference is made to the soul. And then also talks about how you should not be disturbed by temporary distress and happiness. So that's again a material a result of a material activity, happiness and distress. So should not be disturbed by that. And then fully control the mind and the senses, because the mind and senses are on the material platform. So it can go here and there. So one has to have control over it and try to execute your duty as a king in whatever condition of life you may be posted by my arrangement, the Lord is saying. So I can put you in any arrangement, but then you will have to execute your duty. So here the Lord is actually trying to bring out the aspect of how important it is to do one's duty. So that's the aspect that we are seeing. And then in continuation, the Lord is saying how, in the 14th verse, we saw, no? Shreya prajapalanam eva rajnyo yat samparaye sukrutha chashtamam sam hartan yatha hrita punyah prajanam marakshita karaharo Karaharogamati. Okay. So here the Lord is talking about how, as a king, one has to do his duty of protecting the general mass of people. And the king is actually, what actually is protection is also being described here. And then what are the results of either protecting somebody or not protecting somebody. So there's this duty and rights of a king. So that is also coming out. So these are some of the things that we'll talk. And then after that, then again, of course, the Lord talks about how to go about doing it, like without any mental concoction, how one has to be guided by a Brahmana, that is a Dvija Agraya Anumata Anuvrita. So we'll try to see that word as we move on. And then the Lord actually is pleased with Prithu Maharaj because of the qualities that are inherent in Prithu Maharaj. So these are the three things that we will see for today. So before we dive into it, seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, Matajis, Prabhus who are here. So kindly bless me so that I'll be able to do some justice to these wonderful verses. And doing this as a service to the Guru Parampara for the pleasure of the Lordships and for my own purification. Hare Krishna. So here, actually, 14th verse, if you look at that, it's pretty simple here. It says that you have to do your duty. At one sense, at one level, it looks like a very straight cut instruction that the Lord is giving. You just do your duty. And then your duty is to the mass, the general mass of people who are the citizens of your state. In this case, the whole world, of course. It's just that he had a very big state. So, and then by acting in that way, then the result is that the king actually shares 1/6 the result of the pious activities of the citizens. So, if you protect well and then do your duty well, then you are benedicted by pious activities or a small share of the pious activities that the people do. So as a king, then you are encouraging people to do pious activities, and then 1/6 of that is coming to you. So if you imagine the whole country, everybody gives 1/6, how much is the pious activity that the king will earn? But that is so because the task of ensuring that everybody is following their dharma or carrying out pious activities is not easy. It's a very Herculean task. As members of the family, we realize within the small unit of a family how difficult it is to make somebody do some pious activity or anything. We need somebody to do something. It is such a discouraging activity. You might do it for a day or a week or a month or even a year or few years, But then eventually he'll give up. Oh, they don't listen. What is this? So they'll become a little agitated over it. So this is how the mind of individuals are. But in spite of that, then the king has to execute his duty. And then carrying out the duty is what it's all about. It's an austerity in itself, because in spite of what your mind is trying to say, and then in spite of the mind trying to move you in the opposite direction, saying that it is of no use, this is all futile, you'll still have to go ahead. And how to do that? That you can only do by not being attached to the result. And these are some of the aspects that the Lord is actually bringing out to the king. So these are instructions to an individual, and these are also instructions to all of us as leaders. And Prabhupada brings out that aspect in the purport also. So here, and what is the duty? We saw the duty of the king, and then there is also this right of the king. The king has some rights. What is the primary right of a king? He has the right to collect taxes from his praja, or from his citizens. So that is one aspect that he can. But if he is protecting well, then he can collect taxes in a very nice way. But modern day, what is happening? Everybody wants to only collect taxes and nothing else. The whole meetings that most of the politicians or most of the ruling party or whatever you want to call it, they all have, is on how to increase revenue. And then based on the revenues, then they will see how I will do things which will make the people not happy, but they will begin to like me or my team or my party. So that is how then it is all motivated with some self-interest, and then they just try to do that, but they are not worried about the actual welfare of the citizens. So welfare is not all about just giving freebies or making sure that they have a big television in their house and that kind of a thing. So what is actual welfare? We know as per Sanatana Dharma, the welfare of a human being is to make sure that that human being progresses. Progresses how? Not materially, that is not financially, but spiritually. But if materially there is some success, then that's so be it. We're not against it. But then the actual duty of the king is to ensure that there is also spiritual progress. And spiritual progress he has to ensure by making sure that they follow the duties that are prescribed to them. So the law book is there, the law journal is there, everything is there, the shastras are there. And then you have a person to interpret and then explain to you, which is and guide you. That is, the brahmanas are there, the learned class is there. So one just has to keep these as the focal point, and then make decisions or give instructions or carry out things in a way that it is aligning to the Shastras, it is aligning to what the Brahmanas are advising. And then the Lord actually is warning, saying that you should not allow your mental concoction to influence you. So in rolling out a certain scheme or in arriving at a certain decision to carry out something for the individuals, that is the praja, there could be a lot of mental concoctions that will come. The Lord is not saying you should not have mental concoction. It will come. It is quite natural. If there is an active mind, then there will be some ideas that will keep springing up. But not allowing that mental concoction to overpower us or to be influenced by it and then say that, yes, this is the right way. Then it becomes a material, like my own, this is what I know, this is the right way, and then, try to implement it. No, that's not what it is. Even for the king. So leave alone the other people who are below the king. So everybody is aligned in this way because the king is aligned. So where he does not allow the mental concoctions, or the Lord says you should not allow it to hamper your functioning. And then you just carry out the instructions of the Brahmanas as per the scriptures, and thereby you will definitely please. That is the result. The Lord is assuring that by doing this, the people will become very happy. Now, this is a very important point actually the Lord is making. The Lord says that you follow the scriptures, rule wisely, and thereby the people will become happy, and they will happily give you the taxes. So you don't even have to go and then demand or force it out from them. They'll very happily give you the tax that is due to you, and they will be they'll continue to be happy. This is because why there is happiness in this particular equation or the sequence that we are discussing today. So there is one component that we miss out. Generally, what is happening, you take the other side, where the politicians are, of course, the politicians, there are many politicians who are good-natured or who have the interest in the welfare of the people, let us say. Now, even with that good interest, if they don't know what to do, then they will do more harm than good. And we have seen this. So they think it is good, and so they do. But then the consequences are disastrous. Something else happens. Like, I think there are enough and more examples to allude to this. Like you try to give some freebies, free things to people, and they enjoy it, and suddenly they don't want to work, and then you see this kind of a dilemma. It's like spreading, and it's deep rooted, and they just don't want to work, and suddenly you have actually kind of eliminated a group of people who could have actually done a lot of work, manual labor. But now they don't want to do it because you've given them a lot of freebies. So, or even if they do it, then do it in a very hesitating way, half-hearted way. So you're paving the way for entry of machines, automation, and this and that. But Prabhupada never really was for all these things, because he said, you have 100 men and then make them do, then you give them some wages so they are also happy and the work gets done. So what is the need for machines, he said. I mean, he uses that, example in a context where he's saying that put people first rather than machines. And that's the point. Not that he's against the machines, but then it should be people-centric in one way or the other. And that's the point that Prabhupada was making there. So this way, we can see how the modern day, even if they have some good interest, then they will not be able to, they don't know what to do and what is good for them. Like gross errors the world has made, like because of man-made ideas. Man-made ideas are what? Like say communism. They wanted, it's a very noble thought. They wanted everybody to be equal. And so then they wrote the doctrine of how to treat everybody equal, how the society will function, and so many things they put in place, and then they implemented it also forcibly or however. And it worked for some time, and then still slowly you realize that there was so much of dissatisfaction among the people that they revolted after 40, 50 years or 60 years or whatever. So now after the revolt, everything is fine? No, we're not saying that, because the nature of material world is like that. Because they revolted and they replaced it with another, doctrine, and the doctrine of democracy or whatever you want to call it, which is also again man-made, and then the rules and other things. So as long as you keep on replacing it with man-made things, it is not going to work out. And this is something that we are all learning the hard way. And then that's what is the struggle of human life is all about. But here in these three shlokas, the Lord is giving a very simple solution, foolproof, simple solution which will work. And that is to align to the scriptures, to align to the Lord, to align to the will of the Lord. And when that alignment is happening, then because there is a connection to the Lord, everything becomes good. Everything is happy. Everything ends in happiness. Or whoever is aligned or connected to this alignment, they all become happy, because the Lord is actually Ananda. The Lord is Sat Chit and Ananda. He is satisfied and then eternal, and then there is happiness. So once you connect or associate with the Lord, whether directly or indirectly, then because of that connection, the mercy flows, and then there is happiness that is there. That is what we are seeing. We connect to the Lord by scriptures, by taking his name, by performing services to the deities which are representatives of the Lord, that is Archa Vigraha. So like this, or serving the devotees who are connected to any of these that we just spoke of. In this way, when we connect to the person who's connected, or connect to the person who's connected to the person who's connected, then there is this happiness that is there. Dasa, dasa, dasanu, dasa. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized that the best thing is to remain like that, and then serve the Lord. So, and this is like that, like current, like I mean, just an example I'm giving. So, where if somebody is experiencing a shock, and if another person touches that person, then he is also into shock. And now let us say another person going and touching this second person, then he is also in that shock. That effect is carried forward, no? So like that, in materially also this one energy, which is electricity, can actually exhibit that particular kind of a potency. So the Lord's energy it is. So the Lord definitely has this potency where it can actually move on. And then anything connected to the Lord, whether directly or indirectly, actually is a good situation to be in. And that is what is happening in Varnashrama Dharma. There is this connection that happens directly or indirectly, and thereby everybody is aligned. And so you have this Varnashrama system which is there, which is bifurcating people as per their gunas. Okay, later on it became as per birth, but at least whatever it is, there was this bifurcation that was there. So roles of people in the society was identified. So the king just had to ensure that everybody is carrying out their roles or their responsibilities in a proper way, so that there is work happening and there is progress. So that's what Prabhupada actually in his purport is saying in the first shloka. What does Prabhupada say? Hare Krishna. Just a second. One second. Yeah. So what does Prabhupada say? Prabhupada says, see, on one side, we are talking about spiritual activities, about salvation, about becoming indifferent to activities of the material world, because vairagya, we have to develop all these. So that is there. Then a question might come to our minds, how can this go on then? If everybody is like a vairagi, or they are renouncing material work or material things or material world itself, they are renouncing, and then they become indifferent to activities, so they're not taking an interest. Okay, there is some welfare scheme. Okay, you're indifferent, like the government employees, generally. So very indifferent to what is happening. So if we are indifferent like that, then how can things go on? And if things are to go on as they ought to, then how can people be so indifferent to such activities, or how can the head of the state be indifferent to such activities? So that is why in this particular shloka, there is this aspect of Shreya that is being highlighted here. Shreya Praja Palanam Eva Rajnu. So there it is talking about what? The division of society, activities in society as arranged by the Supreme Personality was not blindly or accidentally created as foolish people say. So if one has an inclination to do something, then they will definitely do that. There won't be any indifference. This is the underlying principle for Varnashrama. Because you are inclined to do, like say somebody who likes to, has these qualities where they like to guide people or protect people, they have this natural tendency to do that. You can even see now, like if there is an accident, as an example, I'm just saying, suddenly on the spot you will find leaders who emerge from the pool of people who are around. Suddenly then somebody says, okay, give space, make way, this, that, try to find an auto, let's put this man there, let's take them to the hospital. They naturally blend into that role. Some of them are not like that. Somebody else might then have some other kind of a disposition. So in this way, there are some natural tendencies. So now, did we need too much of motivation to put that person into action in such a scenario? No. The very fact that there was this situation that arose, that person also took up that role very instinctively. So that is what happens when guna karma vibhagasa happens. When guna and based on the gunas, the divisions are made, the natural tendency for somebody to learn, acquire knowledge and guide society. Natural tendency for somebody to protect the weak and, play that protector role, chivalry, and that's the Kshatriya. Natural tendency for somebody to see a business out of something, or to do some krishi cultivation. I mean, some people are attached to the earth, soil. We want to see things grow, that kind of a thing. Somebody with a green thumb, they say, right? So like that. Or then if none of these are there, then somebody has to just do some work. So some labor work, hard labor work. They'll say, I don't know, I can't think of all this. You just tell me what I should do, I will do. That's it. That's my propensity. So in this way, you find natural tendencies. So when these natural tendencies are there, they have to be cultivated and they have to be arranged in such a way that the world functions as it should and everybody progresses. So the Lord is giving us this assurance that actually by just carrying out your karma or your prescribed duties, then one can achieve the highest perfection. You don't have to renounce, you don't have to do all this. That's what the Lord is trying to say here, and Prabhupada has interpreted it like that. So this might look a little out of step with what we have seen. But anyway, this was the discussion that the Lord had with King Prithu in a different era, under different circumstances. So there, the concept, even in Bhagavad Gita, there is this verse which says, in the 18.45, Sve Sve Karmani Abhirataha Samshiddhim Labate Naraha. So it means that by following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Becoming perfect means realizing who we are and understanding the material world. And becoming self-realized is becoming perfect. So this way, actually the Lord is saying that you can become like that. So this is one assurance the Lord is giving. And then if we look at the arrangement of Varna and Ashramas, then Prabhupada is talking about how everything has become topsy-turvy now. This is where then the relevance comes in. See, at the macro level, we saw individually we have been told something, which is about renunciation, etc., not being attached and all that. But if you take all of humanity together, it looks like we are giving an opposite instruction here where one has to do the duty. So at the macro level, it looks a little different. At the micro level, at the individual level, not even micro, I'll say individual level, it looks different, the instruction. But then here you can see how the macro and the micro are meeting, where the Lord is telling the king how he needs to carry out his work. And to ensure that we are not confused further, Prabhupada talks about this word in the second verse, which is talking about Dvijagraya Anumata Anuvrata. It's one word. Dvijagraya Anumata Anuvrata. So this Dvija we know is twice born, and Agraya is foremost, the best among the twice born, who are the Brahmanas. And what is it? Approved. Anumata is Anumata. Giving Anumata is giving sanction or giving approval. So approved. So something that is approved by the Brahmanas or the Dvijagrayas or the foremost of the twice born. And it is not that they manufactured something and they gave it. They also then how they have manufactured it or how they got it, anuvrita, received by disciplic succession. So in this word, the whole philosophy is contained. Dvijagraya Anumata Anuvrita. So a Dvija who's or a Dvijagraya who is actually guiding or approving something based on the knowledge that he has received from the disciplic succession. And that way, the dharma pradhano anyatamo avitasyaha. So where it is saying that a person who, that is a king, you should continue to protect your citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahmana authorities as they have received by the disciplic succession. So everywhere it is properly protected and then proper instructions are given. There is no conflict anywhere from the master to disciple. And if you follow those religious principles laid down by them without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, we saw this. So where there are mental concoctions because we have an active mind, then there will be some ideas that will keep springing, but don't get attached to them. You can dwell on them. You can see if this is aligning to the Shastras or not. If it is not aligning, then you can reject it. You might get some ideas, no? But you'll have to see if it is okay. So you have to consult with the Brahmana. And then if they say, no, that might lead to something else, then we'll have to leave it. So you can't be attached to it. No, that's my idea. I will make it work. No, it's not like that. So then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you. And very soon you will be able to see such already liberated personalities are the 4 Kumaras. So that's what the Lord is saying here. So now, Prabhupada has taken this particular word, which is Dvijagraya Anumatha Anuvrita. And here, Prabhupada is making the reference of the Dvijas first to Brahmanas like Parashara and Manu. Manu Samhita, Manu instructions, Parashara. Those were the instructions for that particular age. Then Prabhupada immediately says, similarly, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami has given us rules and regulations for becoming pure devotees of the Lord. So now we immediately take the instructions of, again, Dvijagraya Anuvrata Anumatha Anuvrita. That is, here in this case, it is Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. They are also Dvijagrayas. And they have given us instructions. So it is essential, therefore, to follow the instructions of the Acharyas in the Parampara. Prabhupada concludes. So he says that the Parampara system is there. They have received the knowledge passed down from the spiritual master. Thereby, the knowledge is intact. And then you can just follow that, because that will take care of time, place, circumstances, or any corrections that need to be done for time, place, and circumstances. Even the great Manu Samhita also, the rules are changing for the yugas. Like in Kali Yuga, there are certain things that are not recommended. You have those kind of things there. I'm not going into the detail, but you would have heard it from some people also. So like that, why these things are there? Because the learned people thought it is not wise to keep certain kind of instructions for people of Kali Yuga, because it might lead not to their overall welfare, but it will take them down. It will make them commit more sins. So there are certain things that are taken away for Kali Yuga people, and certain things are not there for other Yuga people, because their predisposition is different. So in this way, now Prabhupada is talking about our parampara, which is again Sanatana and Rupa Goswami, who have given a lot of instructions based on the advice of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, now what is that particular advice that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given? Do not change your position. You don't have to therefore change the position. You just hear from the perfect source, which is called the parampara, and then you follow the principles for practical application in life of doing seva, and thus you can attain the highest perfection of life. So here also a highest perfection of life is attainable. That is going back home, back to Godhead, or being engaged in the loving service of the Lord. So either way, you reach the highest perfection of your life by just following the instructions of the parampara. So this is what it is. And then, again at the macro level, then Prabhupada is talking about how in the modern age of democracy, just for votes, people do rules and regulations. So these are all man-made. But ours, we don't follow man-made rules and regulations, because we follow dharma. And what is dharma? Dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranita. So it is something that is laid by the Lord, or instructions given out by the Lord. That is dharma. And there's another saying which says that Vedas are apaurshaya. Apaurshaya means not man-made. It is not of man. It's got nothing to do with man. So Vedas are not, they're Shruti mantras. You can just hear them, but then it's not coming from another human who's subject to these 4 defects which are there. You all know those defects. So somebody who's beyond these 4 defects, who's the Supreme Lord, has given these instructions, which are foolproof, and we'll have to accept them. So that's the underlying principle. So that's why. And then connecting them to the Lord actually, even indirectly also gives the benefit for that same person. It gives the same benefit. The shock experience by the first person, sorry, I'm going to that not so good example, but that's the only thing that I could think of. The shock experience by the first person who's touching the live wire, and the third or the fourth person who's touching the person who's touching the person, blah, blah. So that person, the amount of shock or the pain should be the same. Like, so in this way, the Lord, the connection, whether it is direct or indirect, there is happiness, there is joy, there is ananda in that particular thing, because we are connecting to the Lord directly or indirectly. So that's the part. So anyway, let's forget that example. Okay, so this way, there is this specific role that each one of us have in the Varnashrama, and that is being highlighted, and which we know But modern people have no clue about it, and they stick to write their own rules, and even though they have the best interest in their heart, let us say, and then they come up with some doctrine and all that, then it is going to end in a fiasco. Major fiascos of the world are communism, and so many isms have failed in the past also. So like this we can see, and then capitalistic society, then communist society. Which society is better? Both have their plus and minuses. So I mean, we are speculating, and then we are trying to experiment. And it's a costly experiment because it is affecting the lives of thousands and millions of people. But then we are not connecting them to the Lord. But then ISKCON is not like that. Prabhupada told us that we should connect everybody to Krishna. Yare deka tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Talk about Krishna, connect them to Krishna, give them prasada, make them chant Hare Krishna, or just tell them to say, what is that, Chaitanya. So like that, so just make them to tell the Lord's name, because thereby you're actually, even though you're connecting them momentarily, that particular connection, the benefit of that connection is not lost. Neha vikramano asti pratyavayu na vidyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So in this way, the devotees all over the world, they go about connecting people. Sometimes the people are not very happy about it, but still the connection is made, and later on, sometime in their life, they realize. We've seen so many such stories that come about. So in this way, we can understand how there is so much of potency. It may not be very evident at that point, but then eventually it has its own effect, and that effect will be seen over a period of time in their lifetime. Or, I mean, definitely there will be an effect that we will see. So one needs to have complete faith in this particular aspect, and that aspect, the faith can be increased because the Lord himself is speaking, and then he is talking about it. He says that what attracts him, and in the next shloka, the Lord is saying, he says, I am captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior. So the first thing for us is to ensure that we cultivate these qualities, good qualities, and have an excellent behavior, which is a good predisposition to all the living entities. Being equal, I said that at the start. We saw in that earlier shloka, I think shloka 13, where he says that one has to be equal. The Lord says, be equal to everyone. So the Lord actually is pleased with Maharaja Prithu, and then he is saying, after these instructions, he is saying that I am captivated by your qualities. And now then there is an explanation of how such qualities captivate the Lord, and what are the things that don't captivate the Lord. So one does not possess elevated qualities and behavior, then even if we achieve, if we do wonderful sacrifices, severe austerities or mystic yoga, the Lord is not going to be impressed. So what will impress him is the quality that is there. Along with these sacrifices, austerities and other things, it's the quality of the consciousness, or the quality with which we carry out these activities, and then he gets attracted by the quality. So that is why he is called as Bhavagrahi Janardana. So he is Bhavagrahi. Bhavagrahi, that means like he recognizes the bhava, and then he's actually captured by that rather than the activity itself. It's like this example that you would have heard of a small child. The small child is trying to make something for the father, so or the mother, I mean the parent, let's say. So now he is making a small toy or something like that, and or let's say he wants to draw something and then show it to the father. So he's drawing something, but it's not so great. But then he wants to impress his father, and then he wants to, so he's doing it very dedicatedly, or he's trying to get something for the father, or any of those small activities, but he's not an expert in that. And then with mistakes, he's doing it, he spills it over and all of that. But still the father becomes very happy, because even though there is work to be done by the parent later on, where you have to clear up the mess and all that, but still the parent becomes very happy, because they are seeing the bhava, or the mood, or with which that person, the child is trying to do. That's what is that mood? The mood is to please the parent. But then because of limited capabilities, he or she, the child, is not able to do it perfectly without messing up. So that which is being ignored by the parent. They say, that's okay, never mind. But then they are very happy with this thing. So like that, the Lord also sees, he does not look at those possible defects that are there in our rendering of the devotion. But if our mood is right, and then he becomes attracted by that. So here we can see how the excellent behavior and elevated qualities actually attracts the Lord. And the Lord actually continues to stay. He lingers around. You can see it in the subsequent verses. He says, he lingered there. He doesn't go. See, can you imagine the Lord lingering? So, I mean, finished his work, you would expect him to leave. But then he lingered around because Prithu Maharaj's quality was attractive. He was attracted to Prithu Maharaj. So, like how the devotees are attracted to the Lord, this says or proves that the Lord is also attracted to his devotees. He is his heart goes out for the devotees, and he is captivated by the devotees. That is pure devotees of the Lord, who don't want anything. So Yashoda Mai, the Lord can do anything for them. Arjuna, the Lord can become a Sarathi, can do anything for them. So because he wants that kind of an association. Any of the devotees you take, the way he interacts with them, we can understand that the Lord actually is also equally attracted to the devotee. And now, what are the things that attract to him? And even the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you can see so many instances where the Lord says, Priyo asime, it is very dear to me, very dear to me. So we can see those various descriptions of qualities, of how one behaves, and all that be given in that 20th chapter, which he says, each one of these is very dear to me, and such a devotee who possesses these qualities are very dear to me. So that's the conclusion. I think almost there are around 10 shlokas. There are only 20 shlokas in that chapter. Out of the last 10 shlokas or 12 shlokas are all about this only, where he says, this is what I like, this is what I like. So here we are seeing Prabhupada mentions the qualities of Vaishnava, and there are these 26 qualities which are there, which we can be aware of. What are they? I'll just read out from the purport. One is kind to everyone, being kind to everyone. That is Samadarshi. He is seeing everyone as suffering and then being kind. How can one be kind to everyone? By giving Krishna to everybody. So it's the best service that you can do. Does not quarrel with anyone. So everybody is coexisting. It's not like it's my way or the highway. This is what I think. So and then there is a quarrel, difference of opinion. You respect everybody's opinion, so there is no quarrel. You accept everyone as they are, so there is no quarrel. And then it's fixed in the absolute truth, that is fixed up with the Lord. So always very pious, and then they are doing devotional service. And then he's also equal to everyone. Samadarshi, I said, kind to everyone, equal to everyone, faultless, not finding any fault, charitable. So he is very magnanimous. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the epitome of magnanimity. Mahavadanyaya, they say. So like that, charitable also, mild. He is not very harsh. And then he's clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So very clean in body, and not only in body, mind, and actions, deeds also. He does clean things. He does, mind is clean. There are no dirty thoughts, and the body is clean. So from one, the other one is there. So all the three are aligned. Very simple, not complicating things. This is what it is. This is what it is. No complications. No material. What do you call it? Grandeur or trying to outthink and all of that. Very simple. Very benevolent. Very benevolent when it comes to giving mercy, when it comes to helping somebody. Very benevolent. Peaceful. Not agitated by anything happening around the world. Completely attached to Krishna. That's number 12. Number 13. Has no material hankering. Material possessions could be there. Material desires could be there, but not hankering in a way that I want it and then being obsessed by it. So there is no hankering. There's a difference between hankering and then wishing for something. So that is the thing. And then being meek. Meek is not very dominant. That's okay. Either way, it is fine. That kind of a thing. Very meek nature, they say. Sadhu, like that. And then being steady. In spite of all this, very steady. Internally, very steady. You're not going to give up. And then self-controlled. When it comes to the self, then you're very strict with yourself. Whereas you might be very benevolent and accommodative with others, but you can't have that kind of a disposition with your own self. That's okay, one day. It can't be that. Self-control means like being very strict with oneself. And then does not eat more than required. Again, this is internal with oneself. And then sane. 18 is being sane. And sane means not acting whimsically. That means not just doing what the mind tells you to do. So being very sane. respectful of others, because respecting everybody as a living entity, humble, humility, trinadapi sunichena tarurapi sahishnuna. So humility definitely has to be there. And then very grave. It's not like everything is very, what do you say, casual. There's no casualness in whatever action that person does. It's always grave. And then compassionate, friendly, poetic, expert in whatever he or she does, and silent. So silent as in only speak what is required, or when you open your mouth, then you only talk about Krishna. So these are all explanations of silence that we know. So in this way, the 26 qualities actually manifest in an individual. So now somebody might think, oh, how do I go about looking, oh, I should be charitable. How do I remember this? Remembering this 26 itself is difficult. Then trying to identify those qualities and then trying to imbibe that into us is even more Herculean. But then there is one assurance that is given by the Lord. It says that if you become a Vaishnava, if you start serving Krishna, then all these 26 qualities automatically manifest in a devotee. So that's one good thing for us. Just do carry out the instructions and do seva, then these qualities automatically manifest. Now these qualities are there not to attract another person. These qualities, of course, the others might get attracted, but that's not our aim. Then it also attracts the Lord, which can be our aim. In case you want to attract somebody, then try to attract the Lord. How do you do that? By developing these 26 qualities. And these 26 qualities you can develop by not being too conscious of these qualities, but then carry out your duties. So the Lord is satisfied by the development of the transcendental qualities of the living entity and not by artificial performance of sacrifices in mystic yoga. So if we are doing it in an artificial way, then try to not perform in that way, but turn to the Lord and then try to develop these transcendental qualities so that those activities are no longer artificial, they become genuine then. So that's the point. It should be like we should perform sacrifices, but then it should be genuine sacrifices. And for that, we need to have these 26 qualities, all of them. So in other words, unless one is fully qualified to become a pure devotee of the Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from material entanglement. All of this happens simultaneously. It's like as you're eating, then your stomach is filling up, your hunger is also going like that. It's not like, okay, now the hunger is gone, now let me fill up the stomach. It's not like that. It happens simultaneously both. So like that, here also, once as you become pure devotees of the Lord, then we also begin to get liberated from the material entanglement. So this is how our philosophy is, and the Lord has put this all wonderfully in these 3 verses, where it looked like a seeming contradiction in terms of how to apply ourselves in the material world, even though we have been told to remain detached. So we saw that. So doing it as a duty and doing it with the right consciousness, because you should have a good predisposition to other living entities. See them as souls. So don't see them as bodies. If you see them as bodies, then you will become biased. Oh, he is my same body, he is my same skin color, he speaks my same language. So we might become biased. And so to see them as souls, and then from there, then move on and then do things in a very detached way, based on your like predisposition. No? There are certain things that we can do very well. So we'll happily do it with enthusiasm. So in this way, get involved in devotional service under the guidance of the Brahmana, that is, or the Guru in this case. So that is that. What is that word that was used? Dvijagraya Anumata Anuvritha. So he was giving the instructions through the disciplic succession, and then try to please the Lord by cultivating these qualities. So this is some of the things that we saw here. Yeah, we just have another 5 minutes. So I can stop here, and if there are any questions, you can say. Yeah, there is one carrot. Okay, I forgot to add about this 1/6 portion, which is there. So we saw that 1/6 of the pious deeds come to them. But now, on the contrary, if somebody is not doing their duty as a king or a leader, but they are only interested in collecting the tax, then a not so good situation happens. What happens is, see, all his subjects, that is the people, they do both good and bad activities, pious and impious, both are there. So now 1/6 of all the impious activities that the people are performing under his rule, it will all come to that particular king. So if one is just collecting taxes, one is not aligning them to Krishna or aligning them to do their duty, then they have this negative effect where all 1/6 of every sin will come to the credit of that particular king or that ruler. So that way, then you will end up with lot of impious, lot of sins to your account, and trying to get out of that is even more Herculean then. So you fall down, then you degrade then. So this is another thing. And then Prabhupada also mentions that this is also the same for any type of leader. It could be a parent, a father, or even a spiritual master. So thereby, in the purport, Prabhupada is highlighting the fact how it is important to carry out the duties in a way that it pleases the Lord as per the instructions. Yeah, I think that's one thing that I left out. I covered that. Otherwise, I think we more or less saw everything. So I'll stop here. If there are any questions or any comments, please go ahead. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for your association. Devotees, anybody has anything to share or reflections, recommendations, or any questions for Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, then Vishnu is giving counseling to Prithu Maharaj, appreciating and all that. What was the counseling he has given to Indra Prabhuji in this context? That means he has allowed him to do the way he wanted.
See, actually, what happens, no, you both should reconcile, the Lord says. And then Indra falls at the feet, he realizes his mistake, and then he falls at the feet of Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj then immediately picks him up, and then they both, I think they embrace each other or shake hands, something like that. So both are reconciled, and both the negativity that was there for each of them is gone completely, and the Lord becomes happy with this. And the Lord is happy because Indra apologized, realized his mistake. And the Lord is also more happy because Prithu Maharaj, even though he was the affected party, no? So even though he was the affected party, immediately forgives him. He was an aggressor, no, Indra. For him, what is that? Like, there is no this thing. He was not the affected party. But then the affected party is Prithu Maharaj, because he underwent loss because of what? The stopping that Indra did. Indra is not the affected party. But then he realized his mistake, and then he apologized. Even though Prithu Maharaj is an ordinary human being, imagine a Devata apologizing to a human being. That is unheard of, right? So, but then Indra realized his mistake, and then he's sorry for it. So the Lord is happy with him also. But in our discussion, this is with the instructions to Prithu Maharaj, so that is not being highlighted. So we can understand by the nature of the Lord. Actually, the Lord is giving association to both Indra and to Prithu Maharaj. So when so much is said about Prithu Maharaj and because of the association of the Lord, the same way it will also have a similar effect on Indra also, right? Because the Lord is equal to everybody. So definitely there also a lot of positive influence will be there with respect to the Lord for him. But that's not being discussed here. But we can understand, it's not very hard for us to conclude that definitely there will be an impact there. And we can see those signs there, like how he apologized and the Lord became happy with both of them. More so with Prithu Maharaj because he was an affected part. I hope that clarifies what you wanted to ask.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams.
Prabhuji, what in three slokas, nowadays the politician and politics is going on. We are not supposed to change and expect anything better than this.
Yeah.
So thing is, in purport, in 4.20.14.16II, so the question may be raised here that if everyone engaged in spiritual activities to attain salvation and become indifferent to the activities of the material world, then how could things as they are going on? A question is there.
Yeah.
For that, Prabhupada has given a beautiful answer also.
Yeah.
So the division of activities in society as arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead was not blindly or accidentally created.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we have to take on this situation. So being a human being, being a devotee, how we have to discharge our duties as a Brahmana, as a Kshatriya, as a Vaishya. That is also clarified in this context.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for bringing that up again. We discussed that. That's how then we went into Varnashrama. And Varnashrama is a division created by the Lord. Chaturvarna Maya Shrishtam. And Guna Karma Vibhagasa. So we spoke of the gunas and then how it becomes auspicious because they will all do it with enthusiasm. So there is no indifference or there is no inactivity there. And at the same time, what happens is because it is there is no in the and this is for another age that also I said it is for Prithu Maharaj at that point long back in a different age, and for Kali Yuga of course Varnashrama is not there because Shudras Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. So we have a different kind of engagement with the Shastras, different kind of engagement with our duties, which is enjoined by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is given to us where we just do Krishna Bhakti or do devotional service. So there is a separate thing that is there. So you don't have to really try to identify yourself as a Brahmana or a Shudra or a Kshatriya based on the quality, all that you don't have to do because that is very difficult to understand because we will have all the qualities. Anybody you take for that matter, they will have all the four qualities. What is prominent, we don't know. So we will end up spending a lot of time trying to understand that, or we might not understand it correctly also, and then we'll end up with some wrong things we might do. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna wants us that also. It's better to do your Varna work perfectly, I mean imperfectly, rather than do somebody else's work perfectly. So in this way, we don't look at it too much because of the age we are in. We just follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu where we do devotional service, we do bhakti, we try to be, we become Krishna conscious and then carry out what we are supposed to. Sthane sthita shruti gatan tanuvak manobir. Wherever you are, you just do devotional service and do your other work. This is our instruction. So we don't have to worry whether we are Brahmana or not, all that. So this is for our yuga, for current society. But these purports are for what are the transactions that happened then. I hope we can separate these two together and look at it. It's not like everything is for us. I mentioned that in the beginning.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, in Shloka 15, there is a one word. In other words, the change required is a change in consciousness, not in the body. It's a very beautiful thing. So what we have to observe and what we have to follow in our regular life. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Your kind self has explained this thing very well. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. You got it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Sarika Mataji. Please
Hare
ask it.
Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. Prabhuji, I have a question regarding Go Seva. Can I ask that? It might not be related to today's topic, but can I ask that question about Go Seva?
Yeah, you can. If I know, I will tell you. Otherwise, I'll say I don't know. Please go ahead.
Okay, sure, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, I really like cows and I try and engage in some Go Seva whenever I can. But what I notice is that, like all animals, we start getting attached even to cows. So, always that story of Bharat Maharaj who got attached to the deer comes to mind. And I always think that what if I start getting attached to cows too much? So is that okay to get attached to cows or how to go about, Prabhuji?
Yeah, that's why I said in the beginning itself, if I know, I will tell you. Otherwise, I'll say I don't know. So I'm not very sure about this particular attachment. It is like saying if I get attached to the Shastras, what happens? It is like we say we are not supposed to get attached. But then in one sense, Shastras, the Lord is not different. So in the same way, the cow also is very dear to the Lord. Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. So Krishna means then identified as person who is a well-wisher of cows and then the Brahmana. So in that aspect, with reference to Krishna, if the attachment is there, then it is okay. If our attachment is not in with respect to Krishna, but then it's like because I like that animal, like how somebody likes a dog. They are not attached to the dog because the dog is also part and parcel of Krishna. They don't see it like it's more from the mind. They want it, so they like if somebody is attached to a cow like that, maybe then it's not good. Or maybe the cow has a potency to get us out of that also. So I don't know that. But my preliminary small understanding, limited understanding, it says that it depends on whether I am doing it because my mind is saying so, or I'm able to see the overall thing, and then I'm also able to have the same kind of attachment or same kind of feelings, if not attachment, at least feelings to other entities, which means that it is more universal about the whole aspect or not, we have to see. But yes, cow is a different subject matter because it is dear to Krishna. So it may not be appropriate to have that same rule applied for a cow. I don't know. So cows have to be protected and all of that. So loving a cow is definitely good. I'm not saying we shouldn't. But how that attachment is, I'll not be able to clarify to you much, Mataji. We'll have to raise it in other forums and also discuss with senior people. So I'm sure they'll be able to throw proper light on it.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sumangala Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. I just wanted to share some thoughts on this, Prabhuji. Shall I, Prabhuji?
Go ahead.
Prabhuji, Bharata Maharaj had affection for that deer, and he was worried about that deer. Like who will take care of that deer? Isn't it, Prabhuji? This is what has been heard in many of the classes.
Correct.
So what we are doing Go Seva is mainly to please the Lord, no, Prabhuji. So he will become happy. So I just wanted to say this, Prabhuji. I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. That's true. That's what I'm saying. If you see it as he's dear to Krishna, so I take care of the cow or like that, not being personally attached. That's what I said. The consciousness of why we are attached to the cow is also very important. So thanks for bringing that up. So it's for us to try to understand, but then it's always good to consult and then see. So and not to be too much bogged down by such things, whereas we have to analyze the feelings that go through us in any dealings, including such things that Mataji just brought out. So we'll have to see how it is aligned to Krishna. If it is not aligned to Krishna, then we should take it as the product of the mind, mental concoction, and so on and so forth. I will do this for the cow, I'll do that. Okay, that's nice, but then maybe it's coming out of your mental concoction. So it's more for some popularity or just that you want to do it. So maybe everything is not like that in Seva, no? So these things we should be aware of at least. Thank you. All right. So
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
we can conclude. I think there are no more questions. So
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for
Yes. Thank you
time.
for your association, Prabhu.
Thank you so much
Hare
for everything.
Krishna.
And then paying obeisances to all the Vaishnavas, giving forgiveness. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्रील
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
Thank you,
जय
Prabhuji.
Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Maharaj ki
Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat pranam. Hare Krishna to all
Let
you.
us
Hare
pronounce
Krishna.
all of you.
Prabhu, should I discontinue the
Yes,
class?
you can disconnect
Hare
now,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for